Hey, my name's Kevin. Hopefully you can hear this okay. This is kind of an older camera, and I'm not so sure how the resolution's going to be, but our camera phones are kind of out of commission at the moment, so this will have to do. So I'm going to do a quick walk around of, it's a 2000 Camaro SS. It's a legitimate Camaro SS with a hard top, painted black from the factory, no T-tops, no convertible. It's red, obviously. I'll probably start by just showing very few defects on the car for its age. There's really nothing in the rear of any concern. Some of the paint defects it does have, and it may be hard to see on the top of the roof line up here. There's a few little bubbles that just started to show up 5-6 years ago. They haven't broken through, and this is a fiberglass or synthetic roof, so it's not rust. And you can look at the forums, and that's not uncommon on these cars. Something to do with the adhesive that GM used when they put this car together. 20% tint on the rear window. Used to have tint on the fronts, but unfortunately it's illegal in New Hampshire, so I stripped that off when I moved up here. Torque Thrust 2 17 by 9.5 inch rims. Tires, I'd guess 35-40% tread, give or take. Definitely several thousand miles of life left to them anyways. You know, I'd probably say 5,000 or 6,000 miles anyways, so. The other paint defect, I'd say the most significant, is on the hood. I'll try to zoom in on this just so you can see it. Right here there was a little paint bubble, and the paint actually kind of cracked there. I know it's kind of hard to see. Can't even see it when you're standing a couple feet away from the car, but again, this hood is fiberglass, so it's not rust. It's just a factory paint job. After 17-18 years, there's going to be some imperfections. And then other than that, the hood, you know, it's got a few nicks and stuff that I've touched up over the years. The car is mostly highway miles, some back road, but mostly highway, so which is good. And then also the headlights, clear, not fogged, great shape. See if I can walk around this side of the car. Oh yeah, one more kind of cosmetic defect. For some reason, on this side of the car, again, you may be tough to see, but right on the top of this plastic molding here, it's a little bit of discoloration, kind of runs down the length of it. You replace this molding, you know, if that bothered you, that would go away. It's not on the car itself, it's on the piece of rubber or plastic. I just never bothered because it's not that noticeable. It's been there for several years, and I might even have this piece from the previous owner lying around somewhere, a new piece of this for this rubber piece here. But other than that, no other defects that I can think of at the moment. Interior's in nice shape, black leather. Sorry if the lighting's not so great. Back seat, everything's intact, nice condition, clean. Power windows, power locks, airbag, AC functions. One cool thing about this car, it has a retractable antenna, which is a feature that was only on the WS6 Trans Ams. So the previous owner took one of those out of one of those cars and replaced the Camaro antenna, which was just like a pickup truck. It mounted and it stuck up 4 feet. It was kind of an eyesore. Oh yeah, one last thing to point out, just so I'm not trying to hide anything. There is a little crack in the dash up here. Just so you know, sun exposure gets to these dashes after a while. It's another known GM issue. And I might have mentioned, or should have mentioned in my write-up anyway, so there's a couple little pinholes in the driver's seat from the previous owner. He sat in it with a screwdriver. I've owned the car for 15 years, never thought it was worth my time to replace or repair. Again, back seat's nice and clean. There's your dash, white face gauges, extra gauge pod with the oil temperature, transmission temperature. It's got a manual, 6-speed manual shift boot, which was a nice addition. Looks a lot nicer than what's put in there from the factory. Pop the hood. Under the hood's clean. You can see very little, if not any rust at all. Strut tower brace along with all the other suspension mods on the car. You can barely see the long tube headers in there. There's a high flow air filter in here with a ram air setup down through here. This hood is also functioning ram air. Air enters through the hood scoop there, and it channels down and around and up to the front manifold here, and it actually puts cold air right into the front of the intake. And that's also a factory, direct from the factory. And you might be able to see in there, but there's some long tube headers down in there. But the engine's clean. Really no leaks, might be a little weepage here or there, but nothing you wouldn't expect for a car of this age. Then in the back, again, it's clean. Got an amplifier back here, custom wired it myself. 2 12-inch kicker subwoofers with a custom box that fits nicely in the back trunk area here, and sounds pretty nice. I'll turn that on for you. As far as the underside of the car, I'll do my best, but the car sits low. It's lowered about 1 inch on iBox springs. So it's a Dynamax muffler. A little bit of rust on that, nothing out of the ordinary. You can see the exhaust cut out there. I'm pointing my light at it right now. So I've got a block off plate for that. If the car is too loud or you don't want the cutout there, or for inspection purposes, some states don't want that. You put a block off plate on there and it's legal. My inspector up here usually isn't too picky with that stuff. Let's see if I can get you a better picture of the underside of the car. There's the exhaust system. Bottom long tube headers up there. Try to focus on the back, the rear end there. So there's a little bit of oil on there. I just replaced the oil in it actually, so some of that's probably from me, but a little bit of weepage. It's not like it's spewing out oil any crazy amounts, but sometimes I notice a drip or two here or there, but it's not like it's leaving a puddle every time I park it. Also not uncommon for a car of this age. And all those seals and bearings were done about 5 years ago, so I just didn't see a need to go and having the whole thing redone again. It's not leaking that bad. And again, the exhaust. That's a high flow catalytic converter. Single bolt either side clamp. You can pull these out and actually put in a straight pipe, and there's a catalytic converter on the other side too. I do have the straight pipes. Like I said, I leave them in. I think it makes the car sound better. It also makes the exhaust smell better, and obviously it's better for the environment. So we can do a cold startup for you. This car isn't running probably, I don't know, 5-6 days. So it's not like I just warmed it up or anything. Show you how nice it starts up. And as I said, no service engine lights or anything like that. It's reliable, idles beautifully, sounds great. 87,300 miles. White face gauges are aftermarket. and the gauge is up here to match. This is a map translator. It's a nice nifty tool. You can actually see a bunch of different sensors in the car. So this is telling you oxygen sensor voltage and any timing reduction if it's happening with the car. Mass airflow sensor voltage, spark voltage. I don't recall what that means. If you had a service engine light, this would tell you what the code is, so you don't even need a scanner. Miles per hour, long-term fuel trims, bank 1 and bank 2. Short-term fuel trims 1 and 2, oxygen sensor voltages, banks 1 and 2, atmospheric temperature sensor, calibrated liquid temperature, which is your engine coolant temp, throttle position sensor, RPMs, idle air controller, battery voltage, EGR valve function, map sensor voltage. So it's got some neat features to read in real time. If you ever did have a problem with the car, it's actually kind of a tool you can use to help diagnose any problems. But like I said, I've had very few problems with this car since I've owned it. Alpine stereo. Speakers sound just fine. You can actually change the color of these amber lights to green if you want with this deck. It's a nice deck. This is not a traction control switch. That'll kill the fuel pump. It's a safety feature. I think this runs the power antenna, turns it off and on. And this guy actually runs the fog lights on the car, which I haven't looked at in a while. Those I'm not even sure the bulbs are good in them, but I usually don't use them. So air conditioner works. Just heard the compressor kick on. These are LED lights, low speed fans. If the high speed fans kick on, both of these LED lights will light up. There is a fan switch in the ashtray here to turn on the fans manually. I don't usually use that, but the fans are programmed in this car to come on at a cooler temperature than stock. So the engine in this car will run a little cooler than stock, so you get a little more power. It's better for the engine without putting in a thermostat. That's something that the previous owner did as well. That's probably about it. Let me show you on the inside here. Just pull her out of the garage here. I can rev it up a little. Let's get it out of the garage. It echoes a bit in there, so it's actually a little quieter out here. See, the car sounds pretty nice. I like I'll ever own a car that sounds this nice. Sad to see it go, but I got to make room for the new car. And I'll see you in a minute or two here. I'll take her for a quick ride and show you how she shifts and how she runs driving down the road.